Howdy folks, I am Alan for today's news. I will be bringing you world news, interesting news to keep you entertained and news to keep you informed. I haven't been online for a while on this because I got other YouTubes to work on, and I haven't been getting much views here the last few days when I stopped. So I decided to take a break from this and debating if I should keep doing this or not. Anyway, what I got for you today is about gas power stoves. I recorded this off of television yesterday. Let me get right to it.
The House is set to weigh a pair of bills this week that aims to stop looming bans on gas stoves. The debate begs the question, why is this a job for the government at all? The fight over gas stoves, prompted by both health and environmental experts, it has kickstarted a wider discussion about freedom of choice. Nick is here with more. We have light bulbs.
We have light bulbs, we have AM radios, we have ovens. Adrian, you were just talking about, is this a waste of time? And this is a question many people are asking themselves. The stoves in our kitchen, the radios in our cars, even the light bulbs in our homes have become targets for federal lawmakers in recent years. And it's led some to say, enough is enough.
We need to get serious in the United States. What we can't do are these crazy demands from the Department of Energy and from the EPA.
Congress is set to vote today on the Save Our Gas Stove Act, one of two bills the House is considering this week that would restrict the federal government's ability to regulate or ban gas stoves. The debate comes weeks after New York passed a first-of-its-kind bill banning natural gas and other fossil fuels in most new buildings statewide, and as the Biden administration looks to enforce tougher energy efficiency standards on stoves, ovens, and other kitchen appliances for new homes. A move Republicans say is gross federal overreach.
The Biden administration is trying to make Americans' lives even more expensive.
They're regulating for regulation's sake. The middle class is being decimated by inflation, which basically his administration caused. And rather than fix those problems, the agencies are saying, maybe we can take your kitchen appliances away from you.
Democrats say Republicans are making a mountain out of a molehill.
They seized upon an inartful statement by one government official and, shall we say, cooked up this crazy theory that someone's coming to get your gas stoves. The government agency went out, it studied the stoves currently on the market, found that half of them already meet the standard.
And it's not just stoves. Despite the years-long shift to LED light bulbs, some Americans are frustrated that the Department of Energy will soon ban older incandescent halogen and compact fluorescent lights, saying it should be up to consumers what kind of lights they use. Similar pushback has been seen from car makers as the government weighs requiring AM radios for every car. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, a trade group representing major automakers, says that kind of tech is outdated and unnecessary in the 21st century, but lawmakers say they're crucial in emergencies. Meanwhile, at the state level, legislators seem to be more worried about addressing the kinds of snacks we can buy as California considers a ban on red dye number 3 and other food additives, which could see snacks like Skittles, Nerds, and even some protein shakes removed from shelves, is leading many, Adrian, to wonder if lawmakers are making the best use of their time and our tax dollars.
Nick, this isn't really about stoves or light bulbs. This is about some people who think that this is just the tip of the iceberg, and it's only going to grow worse with more infringements on freedom. That's what it's really about. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, it is infringement on our freedom. The White House, Congress, everybody, they're trying to take away our freedom. They don't want us to be free people. They want us to be like Russia and China, and we got to put a stop to it. We can't let this happen. And the governor of California, he just as bad. Tried to put all kinds of restrictions. Matter of fact, they're losing all kinds of business in California because of high crime, high prices. A lot of insurance companies won't even give people new insurance policies for their houses and cars. Let me go to the next one here. I also found this one here from Business Insider. Right-wing House Republicans just sent gas stove bills up in flames. And it's warning shot at Kevin McCarthy.
Far-right House members are not pleased with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's debt ceiling compromise. They tanked a vote, sending 2 bills aimed at stopping gas stove bans up in smoke. Here are the 11 members who voted no, and why they may continue to stall the GOP's aims. The humble gas stove is again being dragged into a political spat. On Tuesday, it was in the middle of an intra-party squabble between the far-right Freedom Caucus and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. 11 conservative GOP members nuked McCarthy's bans on banning gas stoves, sending his plans up in flames. The Gas Stove Protection and Freedom Act would have barred the Consumer Product Safety Commission from using federal funds to regulate gas stoves or issue safety guidance that would ban them or make them more expensive. Meanwhile, the Save Our Stoves Act would have blocked the U.S. Department of Energy from issuing standards for cooking products like stoves. Full screen. Now, unhappy with McCarthy's deal with the Biden White House to avoid a default and raise the debt ceiling, the Speaker's right flank is revolting again, as the compromise with Democrats did not make deep spending cuts. To peel back the layers here, the folks who have championed gas stoves versus induction stoves in the culture wars voted against H.Res. 463, a procedural vote to establish rules on a floor vote for 2 gas stove-related bills, to punish McCarthy. The resolution failed 206 to 220, the first time a procedural vote of this nature has failed in more than 2 decades, per NBC News. Here are the 11 Republicans who voted nay on the gas bills. Representative Matt Gaetz, Florida. Representative Chip Roy, Texas. Representative Matt Rosendale, Montana. Representative Rob Bishop, North Carolina. Representative Ken Buck, Colorado. Representative Lauren Boebert, Colorado. Representative Eli Crane, Arizona. Representative Andy Biggs, Arizona. Representative Tim Burchett, Tennessee. Representative Ralph Norman, South Carolina. Representative Bob Good, Virginia. A 12th voted no on the rule. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who was seen on the House floor arguing with defecting members, voted against the rule as a tactical move to bring the rule up again in the future. The House's far-right faction, which includes the House Freedom Caucus, has been a thorn in McCarthy's side since his bid to lead the House Republicans. It was largely responsible for his 14 failed attempts to become Speaker before securing the leadership spot in January of this year. On the Capitol steps following the vote, Gaetz explained that this could be the first of many blocked bills if McCarthy does not honor a deal Gaetz says he made back in January that helped McCarthy become Speaker, according to AP reporter Farnish Amiri. Today we took down the rule because we're frustrated at the way this place is operating, Gaetz said. We took a stand in January to end the era of the imperial speakership. We're concerned that the fundamental commitments that allowed Kevin McCarthy to assume the speakership have been violated as a consequence of the debt limit deal, he continued. The answer for us is to reassert House conservatives as the appropriate coalition partner for our leadership, instead of them making common cause with Democrats. Representatives for Gaetz and McCarthy did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Until this is resolved, it looks like McCarthy's agenda is on ice.
So are they saying that because McCarthy is siding with Biden, they're against him now? Well, I don't know. There's going to be a war going on. Not North and South war, it's Republican and Democrat war. Let me go to the next one here. Data from the Associated Press. California insurance market rattled by withdrawal of major companies.
Los Angeles. Two insurance industry giants have pulled back from California's home insurance marketplace, saying that increasing wildfire risk and soaring construction costs have prompted them to stop writing new policies in the nation's most populous state. State Farm announced last week it would stop accepting applications for all business and personal lines of property and casualty insurance, citing inflation, a challenging reinsurance market, and rapidly growing catastrophe exposure. The decision did not impact personal auto insurance. We take seriously our responsibility to manage risk, State Farm said. It's necessary to take these actions now to improve the company's financial strength. Allstate, another insurance powerhouse, announced in November it would pause new homeowners, condo and commercial insurance policies in California to protect current customers. The cost to insure new home customers in California is far higher than the price they would pay for policies due to wildfires, higher costs for repairing homes and higher reinsurance premiums, Allstate said in a statement. California's unsettled market aligns with trends across the country in which companies are boosting rates, limiting coverage or pulling out completely from regions susceptible to wildfires and other natural disasters in the era of climate change. Florida and Louisiana have struggled to keep healthy insurance markets following extensive damage from hurricanes. Premiums are rising in Colorado amid wildfire threats, and an Oregon effort to map wildfire risk was rejected last year because of fears it would cause premiums to skyrocket. Scientists say climate change has made the West warmer and drier over the last 3 decades and will continue to make weather more extreme and wildfires more frequent and destructive. In recent years, California has experienced the largest and most destructive fires in state history. Some California homeowners already are going without coverage, and a shortage of new policies could make it more difficult to buy a home. A state-run pool that serves as the insurer of last resort for many could face pressure as enrollments surge. The state pool, the California Fair Access to Insurance Requirements Plan, provides basic fire insurance coverage for properties in high-risk areas when traditional insurance companies will not. Enrollments have jumped in recent years to 272,846 homes in 2022.
Now they said not auto insurance, but I read the other day that auto insurance wasn't going to set new policies either. So I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, there's more to read on that. I'm going to read the rest of it. It's going to be a short newscast. Here's one from USA Today. 2 more deaths linked to recall baby lounger still for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Two more infants have died since the Boppy newborn lounger was recalled in 2021, bringing the total number of known deaths linked to the baby pillow to 10. On Tuesday, federal safety regulators at the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission once again urged consumers to immediately stop using the product, which has been banned from sale since the recall. The agency also pressured Facebook to block the sale of recalled Boppy loungers on Facebook Marketplace, saying that on average the agency finds 1,000 of the products listed there each month. "We call on you to identify recalled and violative products and to prevent their listing by your users," the commissioners wrote in a letter to Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook's parent company Meta. "By allowing such products to be posted, you are putting Facebook Marketplace users at risk. Start the day smarter. Get all the news you need in your inbox each morning." The CPSC and the Boppy company recalled 3.3 million Boppy newborn loungers in September 2021, saying infants could suffocate while using them. Loungers and pillow-like products are not safe for infant sleep due to the risk of suffocation, Robert S. Adler, then the agency's acting chairman, said in a statement at the time. "Since we know that infants sleep so much of the time, even in products not intended for sleep, and since suffocation can happen so quickly, these Boppy lounger products are simply too risky to remain on the market." The month after the recall, another infant died after being placed on the lounger for sleep and rolling underneath a nearby adult pillow, according to the agency. Then in November 2021, an infant was found dead after being placed in a Boppy lounger in an adult bed, the 10th child known to have died. Dangerous recalled products still popping up on Facebook Marketplace. The CPSC and safety advocates have for years urged Facebook to stop the sale of recalled products on its site. Less than 2 months ago, CPSC Chairman Alexander Honsarik wrote the company regarding another dangerous product for sale on the site, the Fisher-Price Rock and Play. The product, which was recalled in April 2019, has been linked to about 100 infant deaths, including 8 since the recall. And yet, Honsarik said that the agency had found nearly 4,000 of the inclined sleepers on resale sites over a 13-month period, mainly on Facebook Marketplace. Even though Facebook quickly removes listings flagged by the CPSC, he wrote that there is no way to know how many of them were missed or sold before the ads were taken down. In Tuesday's Okay, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it there. You can read the rest of it. I was wondering what it looks like. And there's more to read about it. You know, I would never buy anything like this on Facebook Marketplace or anywhere used. If I buy anything for my baby, it has to be new. You know. they're probably selling for a reason, not because the kids are growing out of it, because they're dangerous and they want to get their money back. Anyway, let me go to the next one. This is from the Cool Down. Professional outdoorsman shares the tiny common weed that can help keep insects out of your garden. I had no idea.
It might be time to retire those citronella candles for good. One TikToker recently revealed an unassuming weed you can plant in your backyard to keep mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas at bay. The scoop. The TikTok comes from Earthen Rangers, at Earthen Rangers, a channel dedicated to sharing outdoor and earth skills in an effort to further environmental stewardship. The video starts out with a quick explanation of pineapple weed, a fairly regular-looking little yellow plant you may have seen before growing in the cracks of sidewalks. Pineapple weed, or Matricaria discoidea, is a natural bug repellent. As if that isn't good enough, it can also double as a delicious tea when steeped in hot water. Not only can pineapple weed be rubbed on the skin and clothes to be utilized as a natural insect repellent, the video explains, but pineapple weed is in the chamomile family and you can steep and brew those flowers just like you can chamomile tea. How it's helping. Pineapple weed, like other natural mosquito repellents, gives off a strong, but reportedly good, smell. Mosquitoes use their sense of smell to find their victims, which means strong-smelling plants can keep them away. Unlike other forms of bug repellents, like DEET sprays or citronella candles, filling your backyard or garden with natural bug-repelling plants keep bugs at bay 24/7 with no extra action necessary. What everyone is saying. TikTokers weren't unfamiliar with pineapple weed, but many had no clue the little plant helped repel bugs and could make a delicious tea. I love it so much. Funny, I only find it growing out of cracks in pavement, so never enough, one user commented. I used to play with this, another user added. I had no idea what it could do but remember the smell vividly. One commenter wanted to know specifically which insects the plant repelled, to which the OP replied, mostly repels mosquitoes due to the compounds alpha-terpineol, spathulinol, and narrow isovalerate. Decent for fleas and ticks too.
Okay, and that's all I got on that one there. We'll watch this little video here.
This plant can be utilized as a natural insect repellent. This is Matricaria discoidea in the Asteraceae family, known as pineapple weed. And not only can pineapple weed be rubbed on the skin and the clothes to be utilized as a natural insect repellent, but pineapple weed is in the chamomile family, and you can steep and brew those flowers just like you can chamomile tea.
So I'm gonna have to check on it. I don't see anything like that growing through cracks and stuff. Anyway, let me go to my next one here. This from Ukrainska Pravda. Russian occupiers in Crimea speak of consequences for a peninsula after destruction of Kakhovka Hydroelectric Power Plant. I don't know if I say that right.
The destruction of the Kakhovka Hydroelectric Power Plant, HPP, could have negative consequences for the Crimean Peninsula, since the North Crimean Canal is likely to lose a lot of water, the Crimean invader said. Source: Sergei Aksionov, Russian collaborator and the so-called head of Crimea, on Telegram, Iyer Sirota, head of Ukhrhydroenergo, on air of the National Joint 24/7 newscast. Quote from Aksionov, regarding the situation associated with the explosion on the Kakhovka Hydroelectric Station. There is no threat of flooding in Crimea. However, there is a risk that the North Crimean Canal's water levels will, drastically, decrease. Details. At the same time, he assures that at present there are about 40 million cubic meters of water reserves in the canal, while the reservoirs, the filling of which previously had problems, are now allegedly filled by about 80%. There is more than enough drinking water. Work is underway to minimize water losses in the canal. In the coming days, the dynamics and possible risks will be clear, says the collaborator. Details. In turn, the head of Ukhrhydroenergo, Iyer Sirota, is confident that the Crimean Canal will remain without water, and thus there will be problems with water supply in temporarily occupied Crimea.
Okay, and there's that one town right here. Anyway, there's more to read on that if you want to read the rest of it. I'm going to my next one here. This one here from Lifehacker. Stop planting these invasive butterfly bush.
While butterfly bushes don't need much water and bloom beautiful flowers, they have a bad side too. In many places in North America, some species of butterfly bushes, Buddleia, are invasive. They can sprout almost anywhere, including on buildings and pavement, and don't have native adversaries to keep them in check. There are some Buddleia species that are safe to plant, and others that are invasive and can grow over your yard, sidewalk, and driveway. Here's how to tell the difference, and why you should follow the warnings. The real harm of invasive butterfly bushes. The most commonly banned invasive type of butterfly bush is the Buddleia davidii, which has been declared invasive on most of the east and west coasts of the US, as well as England and New Zealand. The species seeds are spread by wind, and once they start to spread, they can be very hard to control. The tenacious bush will also resprout and form new plants if you cut it off at the base. In some places, the fast-spreading bush has been known to even damage public infrastructure like train tracks. Butterfly bushes that are safe to plant. There are some species of Buddleia that have been bred for infertility, making them unable to produce viable seeds. These varieties are safe to plant, which is great because they attract butterflies and other pollinators, plus they'll bloom for all or most of the summer, depending on the variety. Seedless butterfly bush varieties include Blue Chip, Blue Chip Jr., Pink Micro, Asian Moon, Miss Molly, Miss Pearl, Miss Ruby. Some native butterfly bushes can be safe to plant. There are a few varieties of butterfly bushes that are native to North America and safe to plant in some places, keeping in mind the size and spread of a full-grown plant. These include orange woolly and Utah butterfly bushes. These are generally native to places in Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and California. If you're unsure about a particular type of butterfly bush, it's a good idea to check in with your state or local university gardening extension to make sure you aren't about to populate the whole neighborhood. Consider other butterfly-friendly plants. While butterfly bushes do attract butterflies, other plants can help, too. If your aim is to create a butterfly garden, you should also have some native milkweed, hollyhocks, or wild violet, as well as shelter plants like spiceweed and wisteria. There are plenty more native plants per region that you can find on the National Wildlife Federation website. If having a butterfly bush is just too controversial for you, there are plenty of other flowering shrubs to choose from that won't bring a debate about invasive species to your doorstep. What to do if you find an invasive butterfly bush? If you do find an invasive butterfly bush in your yard, you can keep it from spreading by aggressively deadheading the flowers before they go to seed. Cutting off the blooms before they dry out will prevent seeds from forming and spreading. If you want to remove a butterfly bush, you need to dig deep and wide around the root ball and remove the whole thing, or as much of it as possible, to avoid resprouting. If you live in a place that has declared butterfly bush invasive, you can contact your state or local university extension to find out the best way to deal with it.
Okay, I know where I live, there's a ditch behind our property, and we got milkweed that grows back there. Last year, it was so dry that the milkweed just didn't grow. I think we only had like 2 stalks. We usually have about 6, 7 stalks, and it just didn't produce. And this year, we do have about 6, 7. It's dry here, but we do have about 6, 7 stalks. I try to water back there as far as I can with the water hose nozzle. And what I did anyway, I read that it's detrimental to retransplant milkweed, because that's what I was going to do, put it on the property. But so what I decided to do was buy over 2,000 milkweed seed off of eBay, and I'm going to plant them and have a bunch of butterfly bushes around my house, because monarchs, they love the milkweed. And here it says, it shows marigold too. Coneflowers, I have grown coneflowers last year. I think I still got to pop them up. I'm planting marigolds this year. And I want to try to bring back the monarch butterflies. I'll accept any butterflies, but monarchs, they're a dying breed right now. Let me go to my last one here. This one here is from HuffPost. UFO Bombshell. U.S. intelligence whistleblower says feds have intact craft.
A whistleblower who served in the U.S. military and in several intelligence roles says the federal government has multiple craft of non-human origin and has been working overtime to cover it up. These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed, David Grush told NewsNation on Monday evening. In some cases, agents found more than just vehicles. Well, naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots and, believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true, he said. Earlier in the day, the debrief reported that Grush has told both Congress and the U.S. Inspector General that this information was illegally withheld from lawmakers, who have recently held hearings on UFO activity. The U.S. military now prefers the acronym UAP for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, or Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. Grush, who saw combat in Afghanistan, served several roles in the U.S. intelligence community and was the National Reconnaissance Office's representative to the UAP task force, told the debrief the U.S. government and its contractors have been retrieving material for decades. The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles, he told the website, which said the objects were analyzed and determined to be from non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin. He said he is already facing retaliation and has hired an attorney as he seeks whistleblower protection. Grush told NewsNation he's not alone. People started to confide in me. Approach me. I have plenty of senior, former intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me that they were part of a program, he said. Grush's claim is backed by reports from others, including a defense contractor who the New York Times reported in 2020 had briefed Defense Department officials on a range of discoveries such as items retrieved from off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. It also comes amid a remarkable period in which the U.S. military has for the first time admitted to encounters with objects that seem to defy known technology. In a 2014 incident, a Navy Super Hornet pilot almost collided with an unidentified flying object during a mission near Virginia Beach, Virginia. Footage from 2015 shows two Navy pilots tracking an unidentified object flying off the East Coast. Wow! What is that, man? Look at that flying, one of the pilots said in the clip. Another clip released in recent years shows what has come to be known as the Tic Tac, or a craft that resembles the minty candies flying off the coast of California in footage first revealed in 2017 by the New York Times and the Washington Post. The Navy later verified the authenticity of the footage. My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone, Luis Elizondo, the former military intelligence official who led a government UFO program, told CNN in 2017. Grush told NewsNation the feds have known about all this for decades and have been lying to the public about it. There is a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace which is extremely unethical and immoral, he said. Sponsored content. More.
Okay, that's all I got on that one there. I want to play this video for you. I think it's this one here.
On Friday released a long-awaited report on what it knows about UFOs, or unidentified flying objects. Some of the more than 100 instances it studied could be explained by atmospheric occurrences, foreign adversary actions, or other phenomena, but most of the incidents defied explanation. One person who knows that well is retired Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, a retired Navy fighter pilot. Alex Dietrich, welcome to the NewsHour. So tell us what you saw back in a training mission in San Diego.
So in November of 2004, off the coast of Southern California, we were preparing for our deployment, running training exercises, and when we launched, anticipating going to a particular airspace and running these training exercises, we were interrupted for a real-world intercept. We were vectored to try to get a visual tally on something that another ship in our carrier strike group was picking up on their radar. So we followed their vectors and we ended up getting a visual contact. There were 4 aircrew and 2 aircraft. So each aircraft is a cockpit with a pilot and a weapons systems officer. And so among the 4 of us, we picked up this visual tally on this UAP, this unidentified aerial phenomenon.
And what did it look like?
So we describe it as looking like a Tic Tac. It looks like the little breath mint in larger scale, but white, oblong, no apparent flight control surfaces, no apparent visible means of propulsion, and it was maneuvering in a way that we didn't recognize, that we couldn't classify, we couldn't identify.
And what do you think it is, looking back?
I'm not qualified to make that analysis. It's almost 17 years now, and I know there are a lot of folks who are curious and concerned about it, but I gave my debrief, gave what I could in terms of the information and data from that day, and I'll leave it up to the expert analysts to do their job and make that determination.
The report uses this language that there are UAPs who, quote, appeared to remain stationary in winds aloft, move against the wind, move abruptly, or move at considerable speed without discernible means of propulsion. Does that sound about like what you saw?
So I can't speak to what the winds were on that particular day. I don't know that we noted them, but it certainly did behave in a way, maneuvered in a way that we couldn't explain, and we couldn't anticipate its next move. So normally when you're looking at another aircraft, we do a lot of BFM or aerial combat maneuvering, where we are looking at turn circles or turn radius and anticipating the next move of our adversary, or if we're scrimmaging with each other. And in this particular case, it just broke the mold and kind of blew our minds in terms of the way it was maneuvering.
The report talks about how maybe the number of people reporting these incidents is actually low because there was a stigma attached to reporting. Did you ever experience that? Was there a stigma when you reported, and or did people respond to you strangely when you talked about it?
Sure. So I don't consider myself to be a whistleblower, and I don't, the media has been calling me and asking me to do these interviews, and as a military officer, I feel that I have a duty and an obligation to respond to those citizens who are curious and concerned about this issue. But if there is something that comes of this, I hope that it's a reduction in stigma, and that folks who do encounter something, whether it's in our airspace or in our waters, near a military exercise or just off of our coast, that folks will be encouraged to report, and to report up through the official channels, to actually do a thorough observation and capture it if they can on film or on video, and again to relay that up so that those who are qualified and authorized to do that analysis can put the pieces together and maybe solve the puzzle.
Alex Dietrich, thanks for taking the time during your cross-country move and talking to us from the car.
Yeah, thanks for taking this seriously.
Thanks so much.
Okay. And that's all I got for you on the news today. And I hope I got something for you. And like I said, if I don't start getting views, I won't just quit my channel. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and at least come back once in a while. Until next time, thanks you.